My name is Eleanor Price. I am 78 years old, and in all my life, I never thought one knock on a door would change everything I believed about my family. The morning it happened was quiet. My old house creaked as I put on my coat, the same one I had worn for 10 winters. My pension barely kept the lights on, but I didn't mind. I had learned to live small. I hadn't seen my daughter, Marissa, in almost a year. Ever since she became a millionaire through her real estate business, her world had felt too big for mine. But that morning, something in my heart told me to see her. I didn't call. I just took the bus to her gated community, walked up the long marble steps of her mansion, and knocked on the enormous front door. I rehearsed my smile. Just a quick hello. Just to see her face. When the door opened, my breath caught in my throat. Marissa stood there, but she wasn't alone. Behind her, I saw something that froze me where I stood. A sound escaped my lips before I could stop it, a gasp so sharp Marissa's eyes widened in panic. "Mom," she said quickly, blocking the doorway with her body. "You shouldn't be here." But it was too late. I had seen it. My hands trembled as my voice broke. "Marissa, what on earth are you hiding?" The silence between us was heavy, broken only by the pounding of my heart. I didn't know it then, but the moment she stepped aside, my entire world would shatter. Marissa hesitated for a long moment before stepping aside. My old bones carried me into the grand foyer, my shoes sinking into the plush carpet. The house smelled of money, polished wood, expensive perfume, but underneath there was something else, something raw. Then I saw it. At the far end of the hall, crouched in a corner like a frightened animal, was a boy, no older than 5 or 6. His little hands were clutching a threadbare blanket, his big brown eyes wide as he stared at me. Froze. My voice cracked as I whispered, "Marissa, who is that?" Marissa's face paled. "Mom, it's not what you think." I turned to her, my chest tightening. "You don't have any children. You've told me for years you didn't want any. You said you were too busy building your empire." She ran a hand through her perfectly styled hair, suddenly looking like the little girl I used to hold when nightmares woke her up. "Mom, please. Just sit down." But my knees were shaking, and my voice rose without my permission. "Marissa, answer me. Who is that child?" The boy shrank back, burying his face in the blanket. My heart ached as I noticed the bruise on his small wrist, half hidden by the fabric. Tears filled Marissa's eyes. "I didn't plan for you to find out like this." She swallowed hard. He's mine, Mom." The words hit me like a storm. I grabbed the back of a chair to steady myself. "Yours? What do you mean yours? You've been hiding a child from me." She shook her head frantically. "It's not that simple. Please. I'll explain everything. But you have to promise me you won't tell anyone." "Not yet." I stared at her, at the boy, at the life she had built behind walls and secrets. My voice was barely a whisper. "Marissa, what have you done?" She knelt beside the boy, her manicured hands trembling as she stroked his hair. "Mom, meet Samuel. He's the reason I can't sleep at night. And the reason I've lied to everyone." I took a step back, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. What had my daughter gotten herself into? I stood frozen in the grand foyer, the boy's frightened eyes locked on mine. Marissa picked him up, holding him close like a mother protecting her cub. My voice trembled as I stepped closer. "Marissa, tell me the truth. Who is this child?" Her lips quivered. "He's mine, Mom. He's my son." The words cut through me like glass. "Your son? For 6 years you've had a child and never told me. Why? How?" She sank into the velvet couch, clutching Samuel to her chest. Tears rolled down her perfect makeup. "Because Samuel's existence isn't supposed to be known. Mom, he's not just any child. He's the child of a mistake. One that could destroy everything I built." My heart pounded. "A mistake? He's a living, breathing boy." "I know," she sobbed. "But if people find out the truth about where he came from, I'll lose everything. My business, my reputation, my life." I knelt in front of her, ignoring the ache in my knees. Marissa, I don't care about your empire. Care about this boy. What happened? She looked at me with haunted eyes. I tried to give him away. When he was born I couldn't handle it. But the day I signed the papers I couldn't do it. I brought him back. And ever since, I've hidden him here, away from the world, because his father can never know. My stomach twisted. Who is his father? Marissa opened her mouth, then snapped it shut, shaking her head violently. I can't tell you. Not yet. Samuel peeked at me with tear-streaked cheeks. Something inside me broke. I reached out my wrinkled hands and whispered, "Come here, sweetheart." Slowly he leaned into me. The warmth of his tiny body against my chest awakened something fierce inside me. I don't care how deep this secret goes, I told Marissa, my voice trembling with rage and love. But hiding a child like this, it ends now. Her face went pale. Mom, if this comes out, I could lose him forever. I held Samuel tighter. Then we find a way to save him. But the truth always rises, Marissa. Always. And deep down, I knew this secret would tear us all apart before it set us free. The next morning, I woke up in Marissa's guest room. I hadn't planned to stay, but I couldn't leave Samuel behind. His little footsteps echoed down the hallway as he peeked into my room. "Grandma," he said softly, testing the word like it was foreign on his tongue. My heart swelled. "Yes, sweetheart. I'm your grandma." He climbed onto the bed, curling up beside me. "Are you gonna leave too?" The question shattered me. "Never," I whispered, kissing his hair. Downstairs, Marissa sat at the kitchen table, her face buried in her hands. "Mom, we can't keep him here much longer. People are starting to ask questions." I sat across from her, my voice firm. "Then it's time you tell me everything. Who is his father?" Marissa's hands shook as she poured coffee, her knuckles white. "If I tell you, you'll never look at me the same way again. Marissa, you're my daughter. There's nothing you could say that would change my love for you." Her lips trembled as she finally spoke. "His father is a man who could ruin me with one phone call. He's married, powerful, dangerous. If he finds out Samuel exists, he'll take him away. He told me the night I left that if I ever came back with a child, he'd make sure I never saw him again." My breath caught in my throat. "Marissa, what did you get yourself into?" Tears streamed down her cheeks. "I was young. I was stupid. And now Samuel's life depends on me keeping him hidden." I reached across the table, gripping her hands. "No, his life depends on us bringing him into the light. You can't bury a child like a secret, Marissa. He deserves more than shadows." Her voice cracked. "If the world finds out, Mom, I lose everything. And I might lose him." I looked at Samuel, standing in the doorway clutching his blanket. My voice hardened. "If you keep hiding him, you'll lose him anyway." 2 weeks passed, and every day the walls of Marissa's perfect mansion felt smaller. Samuel clung to me like a lifeline and I clung to him right back. But the outside world was creeping in. A black car parked near the house for 2 days straight. Strange phone calls in the middle of the night. Marissa's hands shook every time the doorbell rang. One evening she pulled me into the study. "Mom, they know." My heart sank. "Who knows?" "The people who work for him. I saw one of them outside the school when I tried to sign Samuel up under a fake name. They know he exists. It's only a matter of time before they tell him." Panic rose in my chest. "Marissa, we can't wait. We have to go to the police." Her voice turned to ice. "No, you don't understand. If we go to the police, Samuel will end up in foster care until they figure out who he belongs to. I can't lose him like that." Tears filled my eyes. "Marissa, hiding him is killing you. It's killing all of us. You have to choose. Keep living this lie or fight for your son in the open." Her face crumpled. "If I fight, I'll lose everything I've built. My company, my reputation, my money." I grabbed her shoulders, my voice sharp with fury and love. And if you don't fight, you'll lose the only thing that matters. Your son. The door creaked open. Samuel stood there, his little voice breaking the heavy silence. Mommy, are they gonna take me away? Marissa fell to her knees, pulling him into her arms. No, baby. No one's taking you. Not while I'm breathing. I watched her, my heart aching. For the first time, I saw the mother she could be if fear didn't chain her down. But fear had a way of finding cracks. And I knew the storm was coming. The storm came faster than I expected. It was late evening when the knock echoed through the mansion. Not the soft tap of a neighbor or deliveryman, but a heavy, deliberate sound that made the walls tremble. Samuel clutched my skirt as Marissa froze, her face draining of color. They found us, she whispered. Before I could speak, the door opened. A tall man in a dark coat stepped inside without permission. His cold eyes swept over the room, landing on Samuel. So, he said slowly, his voice like gravel, this is the boy. Samuel pressed his face into my side, trembling. I wrapped my arm around him instinctively. Marissa's voice cracked. You can't be here. You don't have the right. The man's lips curled into a smile that held no warmth. You know who I work for. You know he wants to see the child. I stepped forward, my voice sharper than I thought possible. You can't just walk in here and take a child like he's a piece of property. His gaze snapped to me, and for a moment I felt the weight of his power. But I didn't back down. You have 24 hours, he said finally. His tone almost casual. If you don't bring the boy to him, he will come for him himself. And when he does, there won't be a conversation. Only consequences. He turned and left as quickly as he arrived, the door slamming behind him. The silence that followed was suffocating. Marissa collapsed onto the floor, her hands shaking. Mom, I can't lose him. Not like this. I knelt beside her, pulling Samuel into both of our arms. Then we don't run. We fight. Her tear-streaked face lifted to mine. How? I looked at the boy, his tiny hands clutching mine with desperate trust. By making the world see him. No more hiding. No more secrets. We shine a light so bright, no one can take him without the world knowing. For the first time, I saw resolve flicker in Marissa's eyes. But I also saw fear. The next morning, I woke to find Marissa staring at the window, her face pale but determined. Mom, you were right. Hiding him is killing us. It's time the truth came out. We packed a small bag for Samuel and drove to the courthouse in the next town. My old heart pounded with every mile. Inside, the air smelled of paper and law. Marissa clutched Samuel's hand as we approached the clerk's desk. Her voice trembled. I need to file for custody. My son's life is in danger. The clerk's eyes softened. Do you have proof he's yours? Marissa pulled a small envelope from her bag, her hands shaking. His birth certificate. And this. She handed over a folded letter. I glanced at her. What's that? Her voice broke. A letter from him. From the man who wants to take Samuel away. He wrote it the night I left. He said if I ever came back with a child, he'd make sure I never saw him again. Kept it all these years, Mom. I was so scared. But now it's our only weapon. The clerk read the letter, her brow furrowing. You'll need a lawyer and a judge's order to keep him safe. But if this is real, you have a chance. Marissa knelt down and cupped Samuel's face. Baby, no matter what happens, you're not going anywhere without me. I promise. For the first time, Samuel smiled. You mean it? Tears filled her eyes. With all my heart. As we walked out of the courthouse, the sun broke through the clouds, warm on my face. For a moment I let myself believe we could win. But in the distance, a black car sat parked across the street. Watching. Waiting. I gripped Marissa's hand. He knows we're fighting back now. And he won't go quietly. She looked at me, fear and fire mixing in her eyes. Then neither will we. 2 weeks later the day came. The courthouse was packed. Reporters lined the hallway, their cameras flashing. Word had leaked about a millionaire mother fighting for a hidden child, and suddenly, our secret wasn't secret anymore. Marissa's hand trembled in mine as we walked into the courtroom. Samuel clutched his blanket, his little eyes wide. At the front sat the man who haunted our nights. He didn't look at us. He didn't need to. His presence was enough to send a chill through the room. The judge entered, his gavel echoing off the walls. "We are here to determine custody of the minor, Samuel Price." The man's lawyer stood first. "Your Honor, my client has reason to believe the child is his. We are seeking immediate custody due to the mother's concealment and unstable environment." Marissa shot to her feet, her voice breaking. "Unstable. I've protected him with my life. I hid him because your client threatened to destroy us." The judge raised a hand. "Mrs. Price, you will have your turn." When it came, Marissa's testimony poured out like years of bottled pain. She spoke of fear, of love, of the moment she held Samuel for the first time and knew she couldn't let him go. Finally my turn came. I stood, my voice steady despite the weight in my chest. "Your Honor, I've been alive long enough to see a lot of lies and mistakes. But I've never seen a mother fight harder for her child than my daughter has. She hid him, yes, but not to hurt him. She hid him because the man sitting over there made her believe she had no choice. Please, don't punish a mother for protecting her son." The courtroom was silent when I sat down. Samuel reached for my hand under the table. The judge's gavel came down. "We will reconvene tomorrow with my decision." As we left, Marissa's knees nearly buckled. "Mom, what if we lose him?" I held her tight. "Then we fight harder. This isn't over." But in my heart, I knew tomorrow would decide everything. Back at Marissa's mansion, the air was heavy. None of us spoke much. Samuel sat on my lap, his tiny fingers tracing the lines on my wrinkled hands. "Grandma," he said softly, "will I have to live with the scary man?" My throat tightened. "No, baby. You're staying with your mommy. I promise." Marissa stood by the window, staring out into the night. "Mom, what if I can't protect him? What if they take him tomorrow?" I walked to her, gripping her shoulders. "Marissa, listen to me. You are his mother. That bond is stronger than any court or any threat. No matter what happens tomorrow, you won't stop fighting. And neither will I." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "You still believe in me after everything I've done wrong?" I cupped her face. "I believe in the love I see in your eyes when you look at him. That's what matters. That's what will save him." That night we all slept in the same room. Samuel curled between us, his small breaths steady against the storm raging outside. At one point, I woke to see Marissa staring at him, her fingers brushing his hair. "I can't lose him, Mom," she whispered. I took her hand. "Then you won't." But deep down, fear gnawed at me. Because love alone had never been enough to stop the world from breaking hearts. Tomorrow would either heal us, or destroy us. The courtroom felt colder that morning. My hands shook as I clutched Samuel to my chest, his tiny heartbeat pounding against me. Marissa sat beside me, her face pale but her eyes fierce. The judge entered, his expression unreadable. The gavel hit the wood, and the room went silent. "I have reviewed the evidence and testimonies," he began. "This case is not about money, power, or reputation. It is about a child and where he belongs." The man's lawyer rose. "Your Honor, my client has the means to provide the boy with the best life possible." The judge cut him off. "A good life is not built on wealth alone. It is built on love and protection." He turned to Marissa. "You made mistakes. You hid this child out of fear. But you also showed a love so fierce it defied that fear. That matters more than anything else." My breath caught. "Therefore," the judge said, his voice steady, "custody of Samuel Price is granted to his mother, Marissa Price. The father has no claim due to threats and coercion documented in evidence." This court rules in favor of the child's safety and emotional well-being. The words hit like sunlight breaking through a storm. Marissa covered her face, sobbing. Samuel clung to her, his small voice muffled. "We get to stay together, Mommy?" "Yes, baby," she whispered through tears. "Forever." The man stood abruptly, his jaw tight. For a moment his cold eyes met mine. There was no victory in them, only fury. But I held his gaze, my voice calm. "You lost because you never understood love." Security escorted him out. The weight that had lived on my shoulders for weeks lifted for the first time. Outside the courthouse, cameras flashed, reporters shouted. But all I saw was Samuel holding both our hands, swinging between us as he laughed for the first time. A sound so pure it melted every scar this battle had left behind. Marissa turned to me, her eyes red but shining. "Mom, I don't deserve you." I smiled through tears. "You don't have to. You just have to deserve him." As the sun warmed our faces, I realized something. Secrets can bury you, but truth can set you free. And for the first time in years we were free. It had been 6 months since the courtroom battle, but sometimes I still woke in the middle of the night, clutching the sheets, afraid it had all been a dream. Then I would hear Samuel's soft footsteps padding across the hallway, and reality would wash over me like a warm embrace. Marissa had changed. The icy, guarded woman who once hid behind her success was gone. In her place stood a mother, fierce, tender, and human. The mansion no longer felt like a museum of secrets. It was noisy now. Laughter echoed down the halls. Samuel's toys littered the floor. Felt alive. One quiet evening, I sat on the porch watching the sunset. Samuel crawled into my lap, his head resting against my chest. "Grandma," he said softly. "Yes, baby. Do secrets always hurt people?" I thought about that for a long moment. Some secrets are heavy. They can hurt if you carry them too long. But sometimes, the truth can hurt too. The important thing is to never hide love. Love should never be a secret. He nodded slowly, like his little heart understood more than his years. Marissa stepped outside, a cup of tea in her hand. "He asked me today if he could start school in the fall," she said with a soft smile. "A real school. With other kids. He's not afraid anymore, Mom. We're not afraid anymore." I felt tears sting my eyes. That's because he knows he's safe. He knows he's loved. Marissa sat beside me, her hand brushing mine. "You saved us, Mom. If you hadn't walked through that door that day." Her voice broke. "I don't even want to think about where we'd be." I looked at her, my daughter who had stumbled so far into fear but found her way back through love. "No, Marissa. You saved yourself when you chose the truth. I just held your hand." Samuel looked up at both of us and giggled. "We're a team." "Yes," Marissa said, kissing his hair. "We're a team." As the sun dipped below the horizon, I realized something. Pain can bury you deep, but love can dig you out. It doesn't erase the scars, but it makes them part of the story instead of the ending. And for us, the ending was not pain. It was hope. A year passed, and life had a new rhythm. Samuel's laughter filled every corner of the house. Marissa's walls had come down completely. She was no longer the woman terrified of losing everything. She was a mother who knew what everything truly meant. One warm spring morning we stood together outside Samuel's new school. He clutched Marissa's hand, his backpack almost bigger than him. "Are you sure you'll come back for me?" he asked nervously. Marissa crouched to his level, her voice tender but strong. "Baby, I will never leave you. Not ever again." He smiled, the kind of smile that only comes from trust rebuilt. Watching them, I felt my heart swell with a quiet, unshakable peace. As we walked back to the car, Marissa slipped her arm through mine. "Mom, I've been thinking we should move. Start fresh somewhere new. No more shadows. No more fear." I looked at her, proud and teary-eyed. "A new beginning." She nodded. "A real one." That night we sat around the kitchen table. Me, Marissa, and Samuel. writing a list of things we wanted for our future. Samuel's first word on the paper was home, in shaky, uneven letters. Marissa hugged him tightly. "You already gave us that, baby," she whispered. I leaned back in my chair, letting their love wash over me. The secrets, the pain, the fight, it all led us here. And for the first time I understood. Sometimes the hardest battles don't destroy you. They rebuild you. Looking at my daughter and grandson, I realized the story wasn't about what we lost or the years we lived in fear. It was about finding our way back to love. And never letting it hide again. As Samuel yawned and curled into Marissa's arms, I whispered softly to myself, "We made it." And for the first time in decades, I truly believed it. Speech Balloon, did this ending warm your heart? If you loved this journey from pain to healing, comment below. Hit the like button to show your support, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that remind us of the power of love and family.